Raclette, number one. My all-time favorite meal. Like when members would be like, "What do you want to eat? Do you guys got raclette? Or can you make raclette?" So it's kind of a seasonal dish. It's so funny because when you explain it, it doesn't sound very good, but when you eat it, it's incroyable. Basically, it's like a machine, kind of like a grill. There's like one layer, and then there's another like pan on top. So how this works is they have these little mini pans, and you put it in the bottom part, like that first layer, and you put cheese in it, and it melts the cheese. And then on top, you can put like meat or vegetables, like ham or bacon or whatever. And then on the side, they have baked or like boiled potatoes. And so what you do is you take the potato on your plate, cut it up, and then however you want to put it on is fine. But basically, you just mix the vegetables, the meat, and the cheese all in it. And it is so good. Like, I think that's the reason that in the beginning I gained a little bit of weight on my mission. And it's like seasonal too, so it's only usually during winter. But they can make it in the summer, but they prefer not, I guess. They're pretty strict with how they eat. Another super good dish, yeah, tartiflette. That's way good. It's basically like in a quiche pan, and that's just got like sour cream, and then potatoes and bacon, and then there's this special cheese called tartiflette cheese they put across the top. That's also a winter meal, right? Yeah. That's super good as well. Just potatoes and cheese, like that's my favorite part. But yeah, it's a hot dish, and yeah, that's another one that I really like. Well, I love France, obviously, and the French people, but every stereotype that I've ever heard in my life was not true at all. Well, like, they're super rude, they hate Americans, they're snobby, stuff like that. No, I was amazed. Like, I remember there were, multiple times throughout my mission, we'd be lost and like looking for something, and like, "Hey, do you know where this place is?" And the person was always just incredibly helpful. Like, "Oh yeah," like, and then if like we had a map, they like pull it out, like, "You're gonna walk here and go over here." And then if they didn't know, they're like, "Oh, I don't know, but hold on, let me ask someone." And they would help. They would be really, really, really willing to help us out. And the only thing I guess they don't like is when Americans come and they don't speak French, and then they get mad at the French people for not speaking English. But yeah, like, no, they love it. Like, there's often times like, "Oh, you're from America? Can I take your spot while you're here?" Like, and the people would wear like American scarves, American shirts and stuff. They do love cheese, so that was one true stereotype. And wine. Like, if you yawn in public, you're supposed to cover your mouth. Like, if you don't, it's really offensive. That was one that I remember. There's just obviously there's certain French phrases that, like, as an American, when you translate it to French, like, you'll translate it directly, it doesn't work. And so that's one thing that, so I guess that's one thing that I did, as I want to make sure I was saying stuff right. Okay, for example, like, one that was rude that I would say, especially when they say a blue missionary, like when you're being trained. So you can say "je sais" in French, and it means "I know." And there's "je sais," which is "I try." So "je sais," "je sais." And so people would say to me, "Oh, like, you speak French really, really well." And I would say, "Oh, je sais." Like, trying to say "I try," but it would come off as "I know." And they'd be like, "Okay, American over here." But yeah, some other stuff. Oh yeah, like your hands, when you eat, you're supposed to keep them both on the table. And you have a fork in one hand and a knife in the other. You're supposed to use both. Put your hands under the table. It's super rude. Like, I've had members, I knew from the beginning, my trainer had a pretty bad experience with it, and so he would always be like, "Keep your hands on the table." But I had companions where they put their hands under, and they're like, "Elder, hands up," you know. Sorry, in the States, you can say to someone like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, you don't know. It's totally fine. But in France, if you say to them, like, in French, "Hey, how are you?" If you don't know the person, they're like, "Why? Why do you want to know? Why is that your business?" You know? But you can say like "bonjour," like you can be like, "Oh, hey." But if you ask them specifically, "How are you?" it's really weird for them. So don't do that. Like, if you're like, "Bonjour, comment ça va?" It's weird. So in the west of France, there's a place called Bretagne, and everybody knows what crepes are, right? In Bretagne, they make these things called galettes. It's a different flour they use to make crepes, and it's more like a dinner crepe than a dessert crepe or sugary crepe. In Bretagne, if you call a galette a crepe, people will get offended. They're like, "It's not a crepe, it's a galette."